Hey guys, what's up? Shadolance back with another episode of Shadolance's Tactics. Now, because the new map is out as of this week, I wanted to do it on this map. Now, I have not had a ton of time to play the map, but I have had some time to get familiar with it. So this episode may be redone at some point, but for the time being, I wanted to share what I found out about this map with you guys so far. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on in. So basically, there's a lot of interior space, but most of the best fights are going to take place outside. So also, by the way, I do have FaZe Famous here helping me out today, so that's awesome. First off the bat, if you're going to be doing OMA, I really suggest playing OMA on this map. It is a ton of fun. Haven't had more fun doing anything with OMA in a while. But up here is where a lot of the fight's going to be. And this is where a lot of the tactics are going to take place, especially for this map. Now, you have a lot of ledges here, so you can always get from side to side. That goes from over there. There's a little ledge right there you can walk along. Same thing goes over there. There's a little ledge there you can walk along. And over there as well. So there's a lot of these little ledges you can walk along. And you have to be careful of these little ladders here, because a lot of people are going to come up those and you can snipe people coming off. I would never ever play this map without a sniper. And then for your other weapon, I don't really care what it is, but a silenced weapon is great for this map, and here's why. You see a lot of people across the map through this. Obviously, this is glass. Now, unfortunately, even though this is glass, you cannot shoot through it. However, that does add to the gameplay and the tactics a little bit, where you can see people, but you can't hit them, which is, you know, kind of strange, but it does add to the game a little bit, and certainly a unique game feature. So keep that in mind as you're playing this map. Now, there's a lot of different strategies to do this. My favorite way to do it actually isn't actually necessarily the smartest way, but it is a way to get a lot of kills. Usually you want to camp right here on this corner where you can hit people in there once you break the window, because they're almost always going to be coming through here to walk across here. Or you can see people coming out of this doorway and wait for them to come up here. Chances are, if they're coming out of that doorway, they're not going to see you coming up here if you're perfectly still. However, you will get the dupe on people there, and also they cannot peek you easily enough if they are peeking that spot right there. You can actually peek that spot, and you can do something similar on that spot over there on these two corners as well. You can't see them from this angle very well, but that is also true. That works best from this side, the alpha side over here. It does work from the other side as well, but it's not quite as convenient, so I'm going to slide over here and show you guys some of the stuff you can do from here. One of my favorite tricks is to get into this corner right here, coming out of this window here from this spawn. The spawn area for this is over here in the back, and, you know, a lot of different ways you can get out of here, but this is one of the general areas, one of the other spawns, so you have these ladders where you can go upstairs. I try to stay downstairs from the start of the spawn, and then work my way upstairs from somewhere out here rather than from in the spawn. If you go from in the spawn, you're going to be one of the first targets picked off, so I highly suggest you don't do that. Try to come down here, but do not make use of the ladders so much. Try to find another way upstairs, either by going back and doubling through your base, or going through one of these doors here, or going up on one of this ladder. This is the very special ladder because you can't be hit from anywhere on the other side of the map except through right there, and chances that someone are going to be there pretty small. But as you can see, the other side of the spawn has a very similar ladder that you can go up, so both sides have this. If you're going to use a route to try to get up from the outside, this is the way to do it. You want to go up through right here, and you can always peek this ladder first to check. Always, the first place you check is not here or anywhere over there. You always check this first, because they can get out there directly from their spawn. As you remember, from the insides of both spawns, there are ladders where you can get up to the upper area, and you will almost always come out right here, assuming you don't decide to take a turn and come out this way. So, also in OMA, if you're playing, one of the spawns is directly inside of one of these areas, and it's very easy to get in that area and then, you know, start peeking. So now I'm going to show you some of those peek spots. Chances are these are actually going to be patched eventually. One of them is right here where you can hit all the way across here, peek around this corner. It's not quite as effective as the one over here, where you can hit people just over this. However, you do have to be careful because they can hit your leg right here. A little bit of a pain in the butt, but keep in mind the way that you're holding your weapon. This is actually not the best way to peek. The best way to peek would be around this corner right here if you are aiming at someone over here. If you're aiming at someone over here, it might be best to shoot over and across this thing. An L9 isn't exactly the best weapon to do this with, but, you know, everything works. If you happen to have a ghillie suit, I was playing a match with Project Zeus, and he made a very, very efficient way of hiding right here with his ghillie suit, and I never saw him, and he got me like 4 times like that, so shout out to him for pointing that out, because I definitely had not thought of that. I don't have a ghillie suit, but surprisingly, it's harder to see people there than you might think, especially if they're smart enough to sit still. Now, if you're going to be camping on this side, the other side is relatively similar, except it's a little more industrial than the, you know, plants and stuff over here. But this is one area where you always want a hard scope. If you are planning on camping this base out, I would stand either right here, because they're not going to see you as easily coming around this corner. Your gun is most likely going to be pointed that way, watching that. So they aren't going to see you coming right out. I mean, they might if they come around this way, but it's less likely. Chances are they're going to be trying to break away over here and get on this way, because there's less area for them to be shot, and they are protected from that side. So if they're smart, they're going to rush this way. So this is one of the better spots to camp and hardscope right there, because they can exit the base through there as well. And let me show you also for OMA. One of the best reasons this is a good OMA spot, well, see, this is the ladder from back in the base when I spawned down there, but one of the OMA spots that I was mentioning is one of the spawns is right here, actually. You will spawn right here, and this is usually not actually such a good place to be, because I don't know if you can shoot through this glass, but if you can, that's a really bad point. But you are also wide open to all of this, and because of this pillar right here, it's very easy to have sniper matches here, and it's too even. I don't like having even matches. I usually like to make my 1v1 skirmishes a little more one-sided, and this is a little too even for me to have that, and there's a little bit of peak area there that's hard for sniper up here to hit down on. Not impossible, but it does make your life a little bit more complicated, so I try to avoid that usually. And then, of course, you have your ledges all around here where you could probably try to parkour around and get onto. Not that I've tried, but you probably could, at least with high enough speed gear. So this is one area where you also need to watch for hardscopers, because chances are after I release this video, so many hundreds of thousands of people will see it that everyone will try it. That's funny. Anyway, so now I'm going to move away over here and get onto the other side and show you something similar. The two sides are fairly symmetrical. The only difference really is that the lengths of the two are a little bit longer. So this one goes out that way, and it kind of removes this whole area here. If I had to say, that side over there is actually the worst of the two spawns. It is easier to peek there, so you have a little more advantage on the elevation level, but it is also a little bit easier to get killed as well. So it is a little better for the offense, but it's also worse for the defense. And usually I prefer to have a strong defense. I usually play strong defense as a better offense. Peeking this is very easy. You can also, obviously, you know, shooting range here. But I wouldn't try to focus on that too much. And if you are planning on camping this side, almost ignore that side over there. Don't expect too many people to come out of there. Stick to this side as much as you can, not this side. Here's why. Because people can snipe you much easier from here and here. And it's a little harder to do that from this side. They're less likely coming running out of there to be shooting right here. They're more likely to be trying to hit you up here from over this thing instead of to the side of it. So it's better to camp right here on this side. And once again, just like the other side, you have two little areas right here, one where you can drop down, and one of the other OMA spawns is right over here. Same drill as last time. It's a little too open for my taste, so I usually try not to engage people here. But up here is another good spot to do that. And then you can also go back into the spawns and the areas through here. You have the ladder right there that I mentioned earlier, and then you have another one over here, so all that. Another ladder right here. This has two ladders, I do believe. And then you can go down to the lower levels from down there, although I've never actually spent too much time going down there, so I'm not going to put that into this video. Perhaps if I do another one, then I will do that in that part of the video then. But my favorite way to play is actually, like I mentioned earlier, not really so much of playing smart, really. I kind of like taking on the world. Even if it's an elim game or something else, I like to do the whole take on the world kind of thing, where I come out here with a sniper, and I'll just twitch myself back and forth as fast as I can, turn my sensitivity way up, and just go back and try to take on a bunch of people at once. This is a great spot to bunny hop with snipers, as long as you're too careful and don't go out there. But you cannot shoot through this right here, like I mentioned earlier, so just keep an eye on it, but I wouldn't, you know, obviously try to waste bullets on that. I mean, unless you're, you know, not the brightest person in the world, in which case, well, maybe you shouldn't play this game. But a lot of different strategies you can use through here. I've gotten a couple of Supermans off the top of these areas here, so this is a great spot for Supermans. A lot of tactics that you can use around this area. If I had to pick a really good spot for camping, if you are camping from this base, so if you are from this base trying to defend your base, getting up there like I did earlier, jumping in through here and going around, stopping on the windowsill, and either hopping up here or here, it's a great spot to camp through here. Now the last thing I want to go over in this video is this couple of hallways here. So like I said before, can't shoot through these. I've said it a few times now. It's the really big perk of this map, well, at least game mechanic of this map. But I can see him over there, but I can't hit him, so obviously that would have killed him. That was a perfect shot, but that would have killed him. Obviously you can't do that. Now I would not engage people in here, honestly. This is the #1 place I would avoid, actually. It's a great rushing area. It reminds me sort of the hallway on Oil Rig. But if you're really trying to camp this out, this is a direct spot to their map. So unless you have a very high magnification scope or you have a really good trigger finger, I would not try to camp this too much. And if you're going to peek it on this side, because they're going to be coming that way, and it's easier for them to aim here and hit you on this side than on this side. It's just a little easier angularly, and you have a little more of an incentive to hit them coming out because you're going to have the first shot on them, not the other way around. I guess this would be considered another ghillie spot suit. Project Zeus would be proud of me for mentioning that, probably. At least I hope he would. And obviously that works both ways, but overall, my playing style, personally, I like to play a little bit smarter. I don't go for a crap ton of kills. I just try to, you know, get a good KDR and play well generally. But this works both ways, so just keep that in mind when you're playing. It is important. And then you have this little area over here. The only thing I would really say if this was important for is as long as you have someone watching your back over here, because this is a little bit too open. If you have someone watching your back, this is a great area to hardscope, and it's a great space to practice it, because it's a little like champing. You can see exactly when they're coming, and it's probably a good spot for clan wars. I would say this is one of the better spots you could try to clan war and do that from. I have actually yet to play a clan war on this map, but I can see that it's already going to be a very valuable space. Similar over here. Just, you got a good hard scoping spot, but you have a little less of an area to hit people there because the angle is a little bit sharper with this hallway here being longer than that one. So your angle isn't quite as good, but it should work generally the same way. And if you're already good enough to be hard scoping on one side, you're probably good enough to be doing it on the other anyway. So that's about all I really wanted to talk about this map, guys. I've not spent too much time actually playing from inside the bases. I usually try to play outside as much as possible. Playing inside on this map is actually not usually the best thing to do. It's a little bit harder to base rape on this map just because of the way it's laid out. It's not so much like Oil Rig except for the central part here. It's a lot more like Sector 25 if you were to actually play it, where you have two big bases on either end, which are all interconnected, and there's like 3 different linear ways out of them, which kind of connect in the middle. So it's very similar to Sector 25, and if you are a Sector 25 player, this might be a good shot for you. Same with Neptune. The only difference between this and Neptune is due to the glass not being able to be shot through. It's a little less open than Neptune is. I actually am planning on doing a Neptune video very soon, so definitely check that out when that comes around. But until then, thank you guys for watching. Please rate, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next episode. Shadolance out.